All right, so we are live, and this is I'm Crimson Raptors. I'm your host. Uh, you knew that from hitting the link and getting to the channel. Um, this is my review for Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise, the Chapter 2. And I'll say one of the weird things, because this is on Netflix, one of the weird things is that Siege had its own, selection you could hit. And, it was like, hey, chapter 2 will be season 2 or whatnot, will be on there, but it actually, they made it a separate chapter. So if you're typing in on Netflix, Transformers Siege, you're only going to get Siege. And you have to click on Earthrise to get over to Earthrise. And I think that's kind of a weird way of doing that. Because I get it's a different selection, so I don't know if there's kind of the idea behind that. And I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the idea behind it was that, it's something new that pops up on Netflix, rather than having something that, hey, this has new episodes on it. So I don't know if that's kind of some kind of weird, kind of marketing trickery they were trying to pull. But it was kind of odd because you can't just go and just hit play. It goes through season 1 and then season 2. You have to move over and go click on it. So it's kind of strange. But hey, M3 Reviews, Marcos and Devasia Mentality. Jay Hall is in here. I'm going to shout you out here for what I'll show in a little bit. And Anana Matt 08. Hey man, welcome in. Blue Raccoon 10. Hey, swinging over here from Gotbot's channel. I know it's kind of a weird time of day. Hopefully my mic's fixed. It's not, like the last live stream I did, it was awful. So hopefully I got that kind of fixed here, because I like to use the microphone that comes with the Logitech camera that I use. I think it's a C920. I think is, if I remember correctly, really good camera. The next version up from this is not a good camera, so don't get that one. But I think this one is the Logitech C9. What did I say? 920? Yeah. But I want to use that microphone because that's what I'm pointed at when you're looking at what you have here on screen with Prime. Alita 1, she's going through some customization. Right now she has that 3D pack just like the other live stream I had on her. I'm about to remove her head and replace it with the Power of the Primes Alita 1, so I can get a kind of a G1 look. However, after watching Earthrise, I was like, man, I like the head that's on this Alita 1, so I don't know how, if I could figure out, maybe that could be Ariel's head, but then that's not quite right, so I don't know. They got Bumblebee here. And the Generations RC, so the Thrilling 30 mold, the Legends, Takara Legends is what that one is, because the Earthrise one is trash. And the repack they have for Kingdom, where she looks like she's all bondaged up with her arms spread out, is really awkward looking, and that is also trash. The artwork's nice, but the toy's not good. And then I got my Wheeljack, who's pretty much super powered with all of his stuff on there. If you saw that review, I go through all the stuff that's on there from non-F to, or not non-F, I'm sorry, Matrix Workshop. Actually, he has the non-F stuff on it. I need to post that review. So I do have like a lot of stuff that's kind of in the bucket. That said, let's see, yeah, M3 review says just installed the upgrade kit on his RC. Awesome. And Nanomat asks, where did I get the ARC backdrop? So this is actually an old third-party set. It's iGear's, I think it's Computer Command Console or Computer Command Center. I think it's Computer Command Center. It is very expensive now to find. I actually paid more than I should have for it, but not as much as it's going for now. I would say it's worth it, but it does not stay together. I think there's a lot of good stuff that's out there. I love it because of this console. and all the other set. It all works great for Generations. Everything else is more like for like Masterpiece and stuff like that. And Input talks about a scale. But the thing is that Optimus Prime is always, if you notice in the old G1, he's a tall Autobot, so he's always leaning down, like, trying to use the keypad and stuff like that, while Wheeljack and Bumblebee and Ironhide and the rest of them are kind of, like it's perfect for them. So, but that's kind of how that works. So yeah, so yeah, so I have not done a live stream in a long time. The last one was kind of a disaster, so I apologize about that. I left it up because I don't really like taking down videos, and it was kind of turned out to be kind of like a hangout and chill. But kind of the point of this was kind of go over the review for Transformers Earthrise. And shout out to, I know he's not in here right now, but shout out to Ultra Marcus. If you haven't found him on YouTube, look at Ultra with the space Marcus, and you'll see him right there with this stop motion animation. And he was asking me recently, like, I don't know, 2 months ago now. I say that's recently, right? Saying, hey, when are we going to do a review on Earthrise? And after several delays, I'm able to kind of get that out here. A lot of stuff going on kind of behind the scenes, a lot of content that I just have not posted, mostly because I'm trying to figure out, I want to have a consistent intro and have an idea of what I want for one. The problem is being able to take the time to make it, and with the way work has been and life and stuff, it's just kind of getting in the way and sucking up a lot of my time. But also, I have a tremendous amount of figures that I have not been able to get out and open and play with and review that I want to. There's also ones that I'm kind of picking up kind of here and there because they're just too good of a deal to pass up. Other ones there's a lot of pre-orders that are coming out, so stuff's gotten really crazy behind the scenes. If you could see what I see on my display shelves in this office, like, I was able to get everything up and out of my office as much as I could, and there's still not enough room in here. And that collection tour I want to do. I can't talk today for some reason, but that collection tour I definitely want to get out by the end of the year, because I really want to be able to kind of have my collection displayed. Every once in a while, I don't know if you guys kind of first world problems, right? But I will say that that every once in a while I've bought multiples of figures because I forget that I have them, because I either haven't opened them from a box and physically touched them, or it was just stuck in my mind that, hey, I need to get that figure, but I didn't. So let's see here. Yeah, got to check out the Matrix Workshop. Yeah, Matrix Workshop makes some awesome stuff. Really, really good stuff. Nana Matt says, I have all the Beast Wars Kingdom figures I want now. Yeah. So the Kingdom is going to be fun. I loved how this series ended. Ultra Marcus, hey, just shouted you out just a little bit ago. Awesome. Is this early for you? No, this isn't early for you. This is a pretty good time. You're still awake. And then I gotta take something to drink, and it's weird, awkward silences because there's nobody else in the chat with me. Shout out to Tales from Teletran on Input's Reviews and Stop Motion channel. Every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can adjust that to your time zone. But shout out to that on Saturday. Wait, did I say Sunday? No, I said Saturday. Yeah. But yeah, so it's crazy. I will say that one of the coolest things is when this okay, so we know at the last in Siege, Prime had thrown the Allspark into the space bridge and pretty much doomed Cybertron. And so we don't know, and the producer, the FJ DeSanto, said that he didn't give a specific time frame of how much time has passed from that moment to when they launched the Ark, went through the space bridge, to go find the Allspark to when we start with episode 1. Yeah, Dark Omen, hey, welcome. Yeah, that is a huge ion blaster cannon. That is from MMC's Roller. Cylindrus, I think, is the name, is the third-party name, but MMC basically Roller. So I love that. I love that gun on that Earthrise Prime. It looks amazing. It doesn't work so well on the Siege Prime, but it looks great with Earthrise Prime. Like, it's massive. And it works well with Alita's her long ass sniper rifle here, and Bumblebee's big ass bazooka. So, yeah, go figure. But all right, Marco. So take it easy, man. Catch us later. You know, listen to it if you want to. But yeah, that gun looks awesome. I don't think it's blast effects compatible. Oh no, it's not, because it's got the you know, kind of a bigger hole there, but a 5mm hole, so it can't fit one in there, so to speak. So, hey, Cat in the Top Hat Production. I haven't seen you in a while, man. I've been following you on Instagram and on a bunch of Discord servers together, and seeing your awesome customs, dude. What the heck, man? Like, it's like every time I see a custom, I'm just like, I don't look that good. Making me jealous, man. But yeah, you're saying that entire trilogy has been lackluster. So that's kind of I'm getting that feeling. Like Siege, I was really excited for. I think it was the best Transformers series we've had since Beast Wars. I didn't really like Transformers Prime myself, so a lot of people are like, "What? You didn't like Transformers Prime?" And of course, Beast Machines. I wanted Megatron to win. Hey, the Collector 75 in Kato's collection. Welcome in, guys. So, you know, the first Siege was very much like an experiment. And then Earthrise was kind of like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I would say this one was more action-packed, nowhere near slow, but the voice acting, of course, we harped on that in the Siege review. But seriously, like, Kato's driving and listening. All right. Got Radio Crimson Raptors. If you're just joining us right now, Kato's collection. It is, oh, wait, what time is it? It is 3:17 p.m. in the Eastern Standard Zone. But, yeah, I would say this one, the Earthrise had a lot more story elements going for it, and it wasn't as slow, but I mean, of course, the dialogue was kind of, but there were some things that, like, you know, okay, so their point is they went through the space bridge, they got it knocked them out. So, do we know why it knocked them out? Like, was it because the space bridge wasn't at full power? Was it something to do with the battle? Did the Allspark do something to it? So we never really got that explanation as to what exactly happened. Why did it knock him out? I would almost say it's a power surge, right? Through the Ark. I mean, the Ark was untested. The Ark probably wasn't even built to go through a space bridge. They were just flying around, I don't know, Cybertron, or they built it. You know, that's the other thing, too. Like, did they build the Ark right there where they had the holographic camouflage in that area of Cybertron? Because that seems unlikely. But that seems to be what they did. Can you build a shuttle horizontally like that? Like, I mean, I guess you could. Well, you know what? That's a stupid question. I shouldn't ask that question, because Robotech did that, and Macross did that, where they built the ship up and around horizontally. So I guess you can do that. But they built theirs from scratch. So, and I got my chat window here pretty big. Man, there's a lot of chat going on in here. That's awesome. Wait, whoa, where is my mouse? There it is. This one here. Yeah, input says, better than TF Prime and animated? Bruh. Dude, yes. Animated it's the stylization that I didn't care too much on animated. I liked the story with, like, Long Arm and Shockwave and the Ultra Magnus. I was going to say Ultra Marcus. Ultra Magnus. Yeah, I mean, all that worked. I just didn't like that particular Optimus Prime. And Megatron was badass, though. So Cat in the Top Hat says we just need an actual 2D anime-inspired series set during the war in Cybertron, as opposed to the end at the end of it. Yeah. Um. So it's so. I, like I don't know if I mentioned it before. I've mentioned it other places, but if you watch a series called Gundam Unicorn, Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. There are the beautiful Blu-rays. That's how I would like. Sunrise Studios produces that. So that's how I would like a new Transformers series to look like. There is also Gundam the Origin. That is not how I want Transformers series to look like. But Gundam the Unicorn is pretty much my standard of modern animation look. I would like to have that. Yeah, I mean the 3D models and stuff. You know, I'm sure what they originally thought. Looking at Earthrise, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Looking at Earthrise, you could tell that they were thinking they could save money by having 3D models. I mean, if you look at like a Reflector or Refractor, his slave name in Transformers Siege packaging because they couldn't trademark Reflector. Um, but Reflector ended up making Scrapface, that we got to see, pretty early on in here in the Decepticon prison, and eventually we'll get to see Viewfinder and Spyglass and Spectro and Shutterfly. Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored. But I'm wondering, FJ DeSanto had said that Polygon Pictures would make the models. Supposedly they were given the toy CAD models so that they could use that as a basis. I really don't think, looking at some of these, it seems like I mean, when you make a model for a toy, it doesn't quite work in a 3D world sense. So you kind of got to go by that. And it does restrict you in movement and everything. I mean, obviously look at Prime. Like, he's got a hinge on his 4 fingers here and then a thumb. So they would have to completely redesign the entire hand. They couldn't even use that. The head they probably could, but they'd have to put in, trying to remember what that was called with the lighting, but they would have to render in the lighting for it, set the eyes would be separate. They'd have to put reflections on the smokestacks, so all that stuff would not be there. So they pretty much are building from the ground up. You have a basis, so it's kind of like you have like the schematic, but you're pretty much building everything from scratch. So the toy CAD models I'm kind of seeing didn't really help them very much. But yeah, even like the ones with the Seekers and Double Dealers group, you had Ramjet, who I think Ramjet they've probably spent the most time on. They made a new head, and everything else was the same Seeker body we've been seeing for forever. And FJ DeSanto said that Polygon would charge them for every new model. So even if they're just replacing a head. So if they're replacing a head, they would charge them the entire price of that character model, even though everything from the neck down is borrowed from a model they already made. It was like, no, it's got to be it's a new cost. So from a toy perspective, it's easy because you can just print. With Starscream, for example, okay, they did that model, they paid for that one. Everything else they recolored, were those pretty much free of charge? Is that kind of how that works? But the Ramjet one, oh well, we got to pay you. You got to pay again. So they got 3 new models here with the cone heads, and be able to recolor them different things. So it kind of works that way. Bumblebee and Bugbite, that's why they look exactly the same. Bugbite doesn't have hubcaps mode because they probably didn't provide that toy CAD model because they were just like, okay, well, you're going to charge us if we have to do another Bugbite model, so just repaint Bumblebee and call that Bugbite. Okay, great. So they repaint Bumblebee, charge them whatever the cost is for the texture, rather than a whole new model. Done and done. Exhaust, you got Wheeljack. Exhaust does not look like this Exhaust figure. He just doesn't look like him. It doesn't. It's not this one. You know, he looks like Wheeljack with red eyes. So they did that because they would have got charged for a whole other three-dimensional model if they had done exhaust this way. So, because he's just got a new head, that's it. That's the only thing that's changed. And Wheeljack and freaking exhaust don't even transform. So it's not like they were going to build an alt mode for him. So it's kind of crazy like that. You know, Chromia, we had that. We had to recolor the Moon Racer. We had Ironhide and Ratchet. Again, those both had different heads. So they probably got charged for those. Alita 1 and RC borrowed very little. Pretty much looking at the models and stuff when Starscream throws Alita 1 into Megatron's chamber. The only thing that seems to look the same between that and the Earthrise RC, or the RC and Earthrise, is the wheels on her back. Everything else looks completely redesigned. It's not recolored. It's RC is totally brand new. And she doesn't transform. She doesn't even get on a boogie board. So I don't know. I don't know. But then they made a whole model with a land speeder. But that's my issue I had with Siege. But so you got all these different models and stuff. Mirage, you got Decepticon Mirage. You just recolor him. No issue there. But then you have stuff like Impactor, Prowl, Sideswipe, and Reflector, and they pretty much just repainted as many as they could. Had so many sideswipes, so many. You could see Deep Cover was in there in Siege, and probably in the background there was tons of Prowls. Even in the Decepticon base, there were a bunch of Prowl-looking Praxis brothers. So they were reusing those four molds at Impactor. Well, I mean, Impactor was kind of used a lot for Sound Blaster's little mercenary hideout. Which, speaking of that, we have no Sound Blaster in this series. In Earthrise, in this chapter anyway. So, I think that's because Megatron had him drained of his spark energy. So, whoops. Sound Blaster really screwed up. Hey, Kappa, welcome in. Harry Alpha Scrapper, welcome in. Yeah, it's super crazy with all that stuff going on. Let me kind of catch up here a little bit with chat. Let's see, this one. Why not explore the times before the war and the eventual collapse of the Golden Age and Civil War? Cat in the Top Hat Production says absolutely. That's what I want my animation series to cover. Maybe not the full Golden Age, because that can kind of get a little bit boring, but kind of those pivotal moments is what I want. Let's see here. Jetfire transformed more than everybody combined. That is absolutely right, Jay Holla. And Darkonan says that too. Don't skip on transformation in a show that's literally titled Transformers. That would be my biggest gripe. They tried to do more transformations this time around, which they definitely did. But the issue with the transformations is, take for example Scorponok, where you hear the sound and then he's in another mode, but you don't ever see it. So you're not getting those, Autobots transform and roll out. You're not getting those moments. You're not getting the Megatron, or you're not getting him to be able to command his Decepticons to Decepticons transform and attack. You're not getting that kind of moment with that. So interesting. And let's see here. Yeah, Cat in the Top Hat Production says Gundam Thunderbolt was what I would have hoped for with the trilogy. Gundam Thunderbolt would be very expensive, I think, for pretty much everybody involved. I've not watched the second season of Gundam Thunderbolt. I'm aware of it, but I heard it was not very good. But that first kind of movie kind of aspect was done really well. It is kind of weird looking from going off topic here, but it was kind of weird looking at a Zaku perspective of how the White Devil, like the Mobile Suit Gundam, like the Amuro's Gundam, like how that would be frightening to a Zaku pilot, and I think they did a good job with that, and with MS Igloo, they showed that as well. So, but I don't know. I haven't seen that second season Thunderbolt. I do need to see that. So, let's see here. Oh, input's got to go. Grocery time. All right. Catch you later, man. Let's see. Have you heard about the Gundam movie that's confirmed by Netflix and Legendary? Not. I heard about that. People were saying it's G Savior, but they're saying that's a joke, even though Netflix officially posted it. I don't know how that'll work. I don't think Gundam works well as live action at all. I think it should always be animated. Live action just doesn't work. Man Monster Mecha, hey man, what's going on, man? All's good. Let's see this, and let's see this one. Harry Alpha says, thoughts on Astro Train voice like G1 Cyberverse. Anyone can try Astro Train with some effects on Audacity. Bergen08's coming in. Oh, what you're talking about there, Harry? I don't think Astro Train even said anything. Hey, Larkin's Lair. I don't think Astro Train. You know what? We didn't even see Astro Train in Earthrise, and he would have been kind of important to have in here. Ultra Marcus, are you leaving and coming back? Let's see here. Because in Siege he was massive. They made Astro Train like super big, like he was in the IDW comics. He was considered a big, huge transformer, so they didn't want him to mass shift like Blue Raccoon's talking about. But he should. I mean, the toy's not massive, so. But yeah, I don't know. I think so before Earthrise came out, so we got a disabled arc. We got the Fortune that comes up, which apparently is called the Fool's Fortune, is what Double Dealer's ship is called. I only remember it being called the Fortune. I don't remember it being called Fool's Fortune, but apparently that's what the name of it is. I think that is from the map piece that comes with Earthrise Scorponok. So I don't have Earthrise Scorponok, so I can't confirm that, but I think that's one of the hidden ones in there. So yeah, it's definitely cool to see Double Dealer in a series, and he's definitely a mercenary. He is not he's not an in-betweener, and like he was in Master Force. But I like how they handled Double Dealer. Double Dealer had a great voice. I think I think a lot of this stuff could have been handled a little bit differently, because Double Dealer seemed like a really good character that would have worked really well. Yeah, and then Ultra Marcus says, are you getting Black Zarak? So I am not wanting to get Black Zarak, but it seems like it's not selling out either. So it's possible. But if I get Black Zarak, then I got to go track down that $400, $500, $600, $700 Takara Tomy crowdfund they did for the was it Grand Maximus? I always get those mixed up. Brave Maximus should be Car Robots, Transformers, Robots in Disguise, and Grand Maximus is from Master Force. Yeah, Master Force. So, but I probably won't be getting Black Zarak. I do have Fast Track and Black Rotorichi, though, so those things are really cool. Yeah, who is getting Black Zarak? That'd be that. I love the stuff that they've done. I love how that Zarak figure looks, like the little headpiece of it. And I wish we had seen something like that in Earthrise. Like, he's like I am the last Scorponok, Quintesson, just like, the deceivers, it's just, I was like, this is a weird Scorponok, like, what is going on here? And particularly with, like, they wake up, they escape the Quintesson capture, they get to the space bridge, and they're like, well, there's just, the ship is in between, or the space station is in between They go through the ship, and I kid you not, when Bumblebee and Optimus go through the ship, they get to the other side. And they're like, what is this? Like, it's lush vegetation. And supposedly that's supposed to be... Now, they're in the Nebulos system, but that's not supposed to be Nebulos. It's just, like, the hint of it is that it's in the Nebulos, like, solar system. Because why would you have a space station and a space bridge that leads to a planet that's in that solar system when you could just, get in a spaceship and go over to it? So, but when I first saw, the land, I was like, it had like the hump, kind of, like they would have like, like the hump land, like this, right? And I was like, dude, that's Super Mario World. They're going to find Yoshi. And they're going to find Velociraptors, right? They're going to find cherries and apples all over the trees. And, like... But it literally looked like Super Mario World. And, like, in a 3D, like, pseudo-serious sense. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, that's not even Nebulos. That's not... I mean, it looked like it. Go back and look at it. You'll see. You'll never... You won't see it any differently then. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, and Collector 75 mentions Black Zark about, in a few months if people review it, more people want it. Probably. That'll definitely, the reviews definitely do generate income. I mean, for sure. Yeah, there's figures where like, like I'll wait for. There's people that say they'll wait for the KO. There's people that say they'll wait for the review, and that's really kind of true, because the review itself is like, oh yeah, you're wanting that figure, because of like how it was compared to others and how it articulates, and like you can change your mind. But then there's other situations where, like, let's say, for example, the Earthrise RC, which I love to bash on, that once you see that review, you're like, oh, it transforms into a bar of soap. Well, I do not want that now. So it can have that opposite effect as well. Let's see. So Larkin says, the War for Cybertron Earthrise Scorpion inspiration is odd. I prefer the large comics rendition of that. Yeah, so like I don't have the Earthrise Scorponok. I'm undecided. So I was undecided on that, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want a Scorponok. I don't have any use for a Scorponok. How am I going to use that in my animation that takes place before the very first episode of G1? Stop motion animation. And so I was like, well, you know what? Tell you what. If I get Fortress Maximus, I'll get that. I'll get that Earthrise Scorponok. So if I find a Fortress Maximus for a good price, then I'll do it. But since I don't have Earthrise Scorponok, I do have. Whoa. I do have I think this is the Energon one. Oh, there we go. I don't think, oh, yeah, oh, that's right. I had to move my camera because I was readjusting a lot of the zoom stuff. Oh, well. Anyway, so the Energon Scorponok here, and just for an odd comparison, here he is next to Earthrise Prime. So that's about as close as that's about as close as he can get. He's stepping on his toes right now. But this thing, he needs his shades on because there's a lot of light. So, this thing was from Lockbot. Shout out to Lockbot CRM. I got that from him. It's broken on the shoulders here, but I got it because like I've kind of wanted this figure for a while just to kind of test it out, and he may show up in the series somehow. I don't know. I'm undecided how I want to handle any of the headmasters exactly. I really don't want them to be headmasters or target masters at all, because they shouldn't be, right? Because they take place in the rebirth. So I don't know how that'll all work out, but shout out to Input. His series is taking place after the rebirth, So definitely go watch, kind of his storyline going there. But yeah, it is a good figure. The Energon Scorponok is a good figure. Apparently has electronics, but I don't have enough LR44 batteries for it. I only had 2, and it takes 3. But it's got the missiles and everything. It's got the little guns, and it's cool looking. So we'll see if anything like that will show up in there. But don't really have any actual plans for him to be showing up anytime soon. So, but hey, Primal King Productions, welcome in. It is pretty interesting to have Scorponok in this series. I mean, I'm glad they put him in there, so I'm happy about that. We've had Omega Supreme, we've had Scorponok, so there's 2 Titans right there. So I don't think there is light piping on this one. Let me see. No, that's straight up paint. Anyway, but yeah, so we know we're getting the Arc Titan next, so pretty sure we're going to be seeing that in Kingdom. And I like that they're at least the highest priced items for either the toy line. They're at least showcasing them, so that's good. And the Arc looks like it could. I mean, they spent a lot of time working on that model, so we may see it actually transform rather than just transform off screen. So that's true. Yeah, Collector 75 said, have you done or planned a video on your collection? Absolutely. That I do have that planned. It is I talked about a little bit earlier, but definitely once this office is clean, I will get that video out for sure by the end of the year. But there's so much stuff around here. It's insane. And Larkin says the War for Cybertron series is too short for him. Wish they had the same budget as Rescue Bots or Cyberverse. Cyberverse with its 10-minute episodes, if you look at it overall, it has way more screen time for all the characters. And I could not have taken a 10-minute episode with no character development, but over like periods of time, it would be really good if they had done something like that. And kind of giving us little snippets here and there. I think that could work. Even with Siege itself, it would be probably pretty annoying to have it out every week. Hey, Deluxe Baldwin, welcome in. I'm talking to you in a minute, man. So it's definitely. I don't know. I like that they're showcasing the Titans. I hope there's something, whether the Allspark generates the robot. Like Prime uses it as a last-ditch resort because they don't have Omega. Scorponok's not around. Something, maybe the Nemesis transforms into something, or they're about to destroy the Ark and they can't move it. It's crashed in the mountain. So maybe Prime finds the Allspark and they use it to create a robot mode for the Ark to make it autonomous. Or Skylink's downloaded himself from the Dead Universe into the Ark. Something, like something to kind of integrate the reason for a Titan. But I think all those are ideas that could happen in that scenario. It just depends on kind of what they end up deciding. It'll probably be something pretty simple and not as complicated as what I'm talking about. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what, and then I don't get the last of the Scorponoks. Like they didn't really, they explained it, but it's just like it's such a foreign concept. Like, okay, so are there multiple Scorponoks? Like multiples of like the same Earthrise Scorponok? Were they different colors, like a black Zarak, like we were talking about earlier? So I don't know. It's a strange way to tell that story and include that character. But maybe it sets it up for, whatever we'll see in Kingdom, where maybe we'll get to see the Beast Wars Scorponok. Like maybe somehow he's figured out some way to get like his own body, his own autonomy and stuff like that. So I don't know. the series is kind of all over the place. I mean, I loved how we had like kind of a showcase of like Red Alert. One of my favorite season 2 Autobots. Even though he's not in the attitude of Red Alert from season 2, but I liked how he had a lot of showcasing from him, more character development in that respect. Alita 1 and Skyfire. I keep saying Skyfire. He is Skyfire. He's G1 cartoon Skyfire, but he's Siege and Earthrise Jetfire. But I did like how, they kind of all had their different situations and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It works because if it was just Prime and the Arc story, like they originally envisioned for Earthrise, then that was going to be pretty boring. Because there probably would have been long drawn out scenes. So by having the like the space bridge and all that stuff going on, then you have the side story of trying to free other Autobots and stuff like that, which was cool. But that said, why didn't we get Autobots like Deep Cover, right? Why didn't we get him being freed? And shout out to Jay Holla for getting this for me. Still hasn't shown up here locally. But this blue Deep Cover is like super cool. But I mean, they had Red Alert and they had Sideswipe's mold, right? So all they had to do was recolor it. They could have put him in the show. And he's a special investigator, so it would have been cool. He could investigate, whatever the happenings was going on. But instead, they have it to where, like, okay, Starscream orchestrates a plan where, they captured Steeljaw. We don't have a hint of whether Steeljaw is related to Blaster at all. But Steeljaw somehow, like, repainted from the Ravage mold, or repainted from the Ravage 3D model, not the mold. But yeah, like all that, like so we get a hint of Steeljaw, but we don't get to see a Blaster. Like that would have been cool. Like they could have freed Jazz. They could have freed Smokescreen. I mean Blue Streak. I mean we had exclusive Walgreens Earthrise Blue Streak, right? So we also had the 35th anniversary Blue Streak from Siege. So they could have involved other characters like that. They at least repaint them into something different, even though Prowl and Blue Streak have different heads, as does Barricade. But Barricade they could repaint. There you go, you got your Smokescreen, right? So, I don't know. There's different things they could do kind of around that. They could have freed Cliffjumper. They kind of had the model. He wasn't quite a red Bumblebee. Because they had the model for just a split second in the last, like when all the power went out through the stuff that. Wait, what were they doing? Oh, yeah, when they released the virus, yeah, which that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. This is crazy. Hey, Trans Aaron, welcome in. And Larkin says, my theory: the original story was longer than 6 episodes, and they were told to cut it. Yeah, I think FJ DeSanto said he did say they did have more episodes. I think they asked for 10. And Netflix said, no, you can do it in 6. And then they tried to do 8, and they said, no, you can do it in 6. And so that's why, like, Siege, there's not a lot of transformations. This kind of looks kind of low budgety. It has nothing to do with them, like, paying, voice actors and stuff for their lines, but apparently retakes cost money, whatever. But in this case on here, Earthrise had a lot more characters, a lot more establishment there, and they were trying. FJ DeSanto said they're saving all their budget for for all the different colors and palette and everything that will be done for Kingdom, because Siege is pretty dark and dreary. Then you got Earthrise, which adds a little more color with Scorponok's homeworld. And some of the spacefaring stuff, the way the Fortune is colored, the way the Quintessons are colored, and then you have at the very end, you have that Velociraptor that shows up, and sees the fall of the Ark and possibly the Nemesis as well, because the Nemesis will crash into a mountain, most likely, is what it's looking like. So it was really kind of cool that they'll have that set up, and then it was Dinobot that saw the Ark and everything fall, because he had a little cybernetic eye. It's not going to be like a, I mean, it's got to be Dinobot. So they're going to go crazy with this stuff. And hey, all hail Megatron, 1K, 1000. Like that backdrop. Thank you. That's that eye gear. I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but it's a third party, old third party eye gear. I think we said it was Command. What was it? Computer Control Center or Computer Command Center or something like that. But it's an old one. It's really hard to find now. It is pretty much next to worthless with the backdrop, like in the sense of it doesn't stay together. So mine was used, and the guy had kind of rubber glued it together, and it's fine. I mean, it works well for paneling, but if you were to buy it brand new, the whole thing would fall apart just from a couple of shakes. There's much better backdrops that I would just say just spray paint orange, or 3D print something out better. But what I wanted it for was this scale that had the Teletran 1 console, because it just works perfectly with Generations figures, because Prime was always leaning over on the keyboard and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like we should have spent a little more time getting more characters for the Autobot cause, because it was always just Red Alert, Chromia, Jetfire, and Alita 1. I mean, why was it just those four? And then they go get Scrapface and everything. I was like, okay. I understand, like, we got to make a big deal about Scrapface. He is a Netflix exclusive figure, but and then they show, and then of course they show all the Diaclone colored reflectors, which was awesome to see that. Or I mean, really, they're the G1, but they look, they're all the different Viewfinder, Spyglass, and Spectro. So I don't know. I hope that I like that we got all those kind of little fan service things with the different colors for the robots and stuff. But I would have liked to have seen more characters. I would have liked to have seen Cogs that were also, because Cog's one of my favorite, but weaponizers. But I wish we had seen more of Cog in the in Cybertron, like different Cogs, or Six Gun, something like that. Brunt would have made a lot of sense as like an army kind of troop. But we got to see some good stuff. Cog, and here with the Fortune, I mean, he pretty much saved the Nemesis and saved the Ark and everybody from being destroyed, because the Quintesson took over Double Dealer's body. So I don't know, there was a lot of good stuff that went through. Starscream got to kind of show, like, hey, I can take over the leadership from Megatron, and I'm the leader now. Barricade didn't want to follow him by shooting on the Ark or the station. I keep saying Ark. Firing on the station. All that stuff is really good, because it kind of brought that Starscream into like a new generation to kind of see that kind of treachery that he pulls. Like, he's an opportunist. He wins through guile, not brute strength. So. And then the Collector 75 says Kingdom will be what it will be, but I'm not expecting much. All the best bad guys have British accents. Because Dinobot with a British accent, Larkin says. And be like, if Dinobot has a British accent, why? What? And Ultra Marcus and I have talked about this. Why didn't Impactor have a British accent? He's a Marvel UK exclusive character. Why didn't he get a British accent? Like, why couldn't he say, like, oh, we've got to bust those Autobots down, right? was like, we're gonna take him out. You know, like it's just something Impactor could do. I don't know, just missed opportunities for many different things. But with what they had, like I can see why they did that. But yeah, you tell them, Crimson. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think the 10 episodes would have worked well. And I know Gotbot's mentioning it too. 10 episodes would have worked really, really well for each chapter. I like what they did with Bumblebee. He had a pretty good little developing character there. I liked what they did with Shockwave, where he's kind of sucking all the Decepticons and Autobot sparks, as many as he could, in order to work on Project Nemesis to make their ship and power himself. And it's really strange because I've never thought I'd see that kind of interaction of Shockwave. Like the only time we've really seen Shockwave as diabolical has been in the comics, the old Marvel comics. And Shockwave in the IDW comics, although you could say he had some very grand schemes, which he did, but those were not necessarily aimed at usurping whatever Megatron was doing. It was aimed at making sure that Cybertron survived and went through anything that Megatron and Optimus Prime were doing to the planet, which is totally fine. I don't think that quite having this Shockwave is very different from Shockwaves we've gotten before. I would say the Prime Shockwave seemed very loyal to Megatron. The G1 Shockwave, with the exception of one episode, or one scene actually, and Roll For It, where Megatron goes back to get the antimatter formula from the lab that they were gonna get, and then Shockwave says, "Have a safe journey, Megatron," and it has like this kind of shade over like Shockwave's, like his eyes and everything, like shade over his head and stuff as he's looking back at Megatron. But then they never revisit that because that was too much of a Marvel comic influence. So this Shockwave's a little different. So what happens if Megatron comes back and he's like, "Whoa, what are you doing all superpowered, Shockwave?" And he'd be like, "I'm doing it for Cybertron, Megatron." Like it's a weird Shockwave. And he's one of my favorite Decepticons. So it is very strange. Soundwave did a great job in this series. But I wish he had said, when he was being squozened, squeezed, when he was being squozened by Scorponok, and the little Ravage cassette pops out, I was just like, oh man, like any other time, you slow down the frames and slow down the animation, you can't take the time to freeze that and have him say, Ravage, eject. Like, that was the perfect moment to do it. And like that would have been a great little moment there. It's like, I don't even think we got to see Laserbeak at all. Of course, we still haven't gotten a Buzzsaw for Sound Blaster, and we haven't gotten that Steeljaw. That would be kind of cool having a 2-pack of them. I don't think we're gonna get that though, unfortunately. I wish we did. I wish we had some Generation Selects of those, just like we got Rumble Frenzy and what was the Wing Thing and Knock and Scar for Double Dealer. And Double Dealer didn't even have any Power Masters. It would have been interesting if they had given Double Dealer his own little cassette force, like his own personal bodyguard. That would have been kind of interesting. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take something to drink. But yeah, so definitely kind of crazy to see Shockwave's attitude in this series. I like how Elita One handled it. Like threatening Shockwave and well, not threatening, but like what was she was kind of pulling like oh yeah, tell the Guardians, make sure, tell them to hold off until I'm ready. And It's just like, oh man, it's like she fooled Shockwave. Like, Alita 1's pretty good at that kind of stuff, so. Blue Coon says, I think Ravage reacted to save Soundwave in defense. He was just saving him. Such a loyal cat. They never clarify. Well, it's a cat. Yeah, he's definitely a cat. He's not a dog. Yeah, man, I could see that happening. But if it was in defense, why didn't Laserbeak pop out? You know what I mean? So it's a good theory, but why didn't Laserbeak pop out to help out too? Because that would have been cool having both. Or even have like Frenzy or Rumble just jump out of nowhere and be like, who's this guy? You know? They're like, oh yeah, this is a Frenzy. You know, it comes in a different set. So, but or Ratbat. You know, we got those in Siege. But you know, why didn't we get a Ratbat or a Wing Thing or something? You know, kind of something a little different. I think that would have worked really well. But yeah, see you, Larkin. You know, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's pretty much like the whole series. Like, you know, we had the Coneheads, you know, and they had their just a different head, like I was talking about earlier, but just with the Siege Tetrajet look, you know, and we didn't get, you know, like we knew we weren't going to get an Earthrise look, although that would have been interesting had they done that. Yeah, these guys are like way too big to be next to one another. Oh. Let's see if this works. Can I get that to work? Maybe. Kinda. Yeah. I mean, it's great to have them all together. And it was cool to see them, and you know, along with Bugbite and Exhaust. I tried to find my Bugbite figure, but I don't know where he's at. I think I only got one Bugbite. I don't think I got two, but I can't find his box or nothing anywhere. He's around here somewhere. I have an idea where he's probably at, but again, lots of figures, lots of boxes. So yeah, so definitely gonna be kind of crazy. Oh hey, Tia Fan Geek, welcome in, man. But yeah, it was good kind of seeing them all together. I just wish we had either given us Coneheads that were Tetrajets. I like the Shapeways kits that is out there. Larkin actually did a customization of you know, extra Tetrajets into what we saw in Earthrise. And those are cool, but why didn't we get them officially? Like, that would have been really neat too. So, and I think they did the Ramjet model first, because if you notice, as you're kind of watching, like, Dirge and Thrust, they don't look at them like as closely, kind of like they're kind of, you know, away from them. So I'm thinking that they did Ramjet's like head model and rigging and everything first, and then they just copied it to the rest of them whenever they were ready for their scenes. So definitely, but definitely a good situation in having, you know, at least involving the Coneheads in something. Yeah, I don't know, having Hot Rod, you know, like, Ultramarcus says it was Godbot's review of Hot Rod that made me get Hot Rod. Yeah, Hot Rod's, that Studio 86 figure is an amazing figure. There's a couple of nitpicks with just the, you know, paint that's on the hood of the roof. I wish that the what do you call it, like the way, I wish the actual canopy on that Hot Rod would lift up, just like it did in the movie, but whatever. They could have done it. There's a spot there for a hinge, but it didn't happen, and that's fine. I mean, there's blast effects with it, but I would like the hood to open up. But yeah, so it's definitely cool to see new characters. So you know, so we got these three, and we got Bugbite and Exhaust, and we got Double Dealer, and we got the Quintesson, you know, the Magistrate Decius, or Decius. Do we say Decius? I think we say Decius. So we did get characters that way around, but we didn't get the characters, you know, that like more Autobots, like we, we could have got the deep cover. We could have gotten a clamp down, something like that. That would have worked out really well. That's my custom clamp down there. I don't like the little swoosh because it looks too much like the swoosh that would be on his. I think it's called chrysanthemum, or however that little point that would be on his chest. Because I think it looks too much like Prowl, so I kind of like him kind of bare like that. But we did get the army drone, or the Decius, dead Ironhide, basically. But the Decius army drone, I like it, but why was it Ironhide? Out of all the drones you had, you wanted to do it out of Ironhide? I guess just because he looks bulky and he looks rough and tough. I guess it was either him or Hound, right? It wouldn't make any sense for him to have Seekers, so I could see that. At least it wasn't a bunch of exhausts, so we could be lucky that way around. But yeah, shout out to Jay Holla for picking this guy up for me. I'm starting to see him kind of show up here locally, so I'm kind of amassing quite the army with them. I'm actually going to be making a custom out of the figure. And that I've hinted that on my Instagram as to who that is very, very early on. I actually picked up another Siege crosshairs for that specific reason. The thing is that I can't get these freaking pins out because they're not screws, but these pins that are right here on his little forearms. I need Ironhide's elbows, or what you would call elbows, and then I need Crosshair's kind of leg joint, knee joint stuff, and then I don't know if I'll keep Crosshair's arms or I'll use these arms, but it's these pins, man. We gotta have screws. So much easier to customize with screws. I know it costs money, but it's so much easier. But yeah, I'm super excited for what's coming up with Kingdom. Should be a pretty colorful series. I don't think that we'll see a lot of characters. I think we'll see maybe probably the wave 1 of cast of characters. I don't think we'll see Air Razor. I highly doubt it. We won't see Pterosaur. We won't see a Waspinator. Yeah. So, Deluxe says, anyone got any pants on? Deluxe, you know it. We don't wear pants when we stream. That's the rule. I don't even think we've even seen when Ultra Marcus does his haul videos. I don't think we've ever seen his pants. So we don't wear pants. It doesn't work that way. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Crimson, you're killing me here with the Netflix Wave 3. Hey, so I've seen the drones, but I've not seen Deep Cover in store. So, super awesome from Jay Holla for getting that. But I'm not seeing Netflix Cheetor either, or the what are they called? The Sparkless Seeker or the Sparkless Prowl. I have seen Hotlink get restocked. Go figure. So I picked up another Hotlink for input because he's going to make a custom. He wants to use a Hotlink specifically because of the black plastic that's on Hotlink. So yeah, it's doesn't make any sense to have a restock on Hotlink, but okay, So Blue Raccoon says he wants that drone to be his Ironhide. So you didn't pick up Siege Ironhide? I know, next to nobody got Earthrise Ironhide, but what about Siege Ironhide? You didn't pick him up? Man, he's a good figure. I don't know if this one's a good replacement for Ironhide, but, technically, that is a Bayverse Ironhide look to him. I don't think that was unintentional. I think that was intentional in the design, because in the show he's not black and gray like this. He's all white. So This is Bay versus Ironhide. So you put him next to your Barricade, and they can fight each other. Even though Barricade doesn't look anything like what he should look like in Bayverse. Yeah, the Jay Hollis says the army builders aren't going to stay on the shelves. They never do. They never do. So, yeah, and I think you mean deep cover, TF Anki, because Clampdown's not official yet. I mean, there is a Clampdown coming. It's likely going to be a Generation Selects, but I think you're meaning the blue deep cover. But yeah, Blue Raccoon says, "No, man, I grew up with the Unicron Trilogy, Bayverse, and so on." So, yep, it's crazy. But yeah, it's pretty. I'm excited for what's coming up in Kingdom. I like that at least the story picked up a little bit more with Earthrise. I was disappointed we got this army drone here and not Brunt. Would have been a good army builder to have put in there for Decius to have. In fact, you could have used the Centurion drone for Decius's army. That would have been interesting, but it looks like they kind of cheapened out, trying to save that budget. Okay, so we know there's not been a lot of Transformers in this transforming show. It's like, not having dinosaurs on a dinosaur tour, like in Jurassic Park, right? Like, you are going to have dinosaurs on this dinosaur tour, right? So, if that's the case, then I would say that the lack of transformations and all that stuff is because they're going to be maximizing and terrorizing and transforming a lot in Kingdom. Because we better see that. If we don't see that, then why did they save all this budget? So, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. It doesn't make any sense to me, because you're going to end up having, the transformation sounds with the beast, like the ch-ch-ch-ch, or is it going to be like sliding, skin plates, or is it going to sound like, leather against metal, I don't know how they're going to work that out. But we'll see. I feel like I'm rambling on a little bit on here. I think kind of covered mostly kind of my thoughts on it. The Super Mario World for Scorponok doesn't really do it for me. I don't know why they had to spend all that time on that. I mean, they could have made it look like Char, Why did it have to look like a lush vegetation world? Like, so I'm very confused by some of the aspects they put in it. I mean, it doesn't. Maybe it's akin. I don't even remember if Nebulos even look like that in the Marvel comics, because there are some Marvel influences in Earthrise, but we'll see. Yeah, Jay Hollis says only Megatron and Primal and Dinobot will transform once each. Oh, dude, for sure. I would say that's probably what those three right there: Megatron, Dinobot, and Optimus Primal. But I think Megatron's going to turn into Megatron Predacon, and Optimus Prime is going to turn into Optimus Primal, and then it's going to be Truck becomes Monkey instead of Truck not Monkey or Monkey not Truck. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. I hope not, because I don't see how that works at all in 6 episodes, but are they going to be other characters? We know Dinobot has to be, for sure. So, is there Black Arachnia hanging around? Is there a Polar Claw? Even though we didn't get a figure for it. He was in the promotional artwork. Well, not promotional artwork, but the leaked artwork that we weren't ever supposed to see, but apparently we got to see it. So I don't know. Yeah, Black Arachnia will definitely change off screen. Oh yeah, 100%. In fact, when she transforms off screen, she'll break apart on her, and Cheetor will do the same thing. When he transforms, a tab will break off, and it'll be like, oh no, another one of those tabs broke off. I don't need that. And that would be like a running joke, right? Like that would be. I would totally do that if I was doing like a stop motion series for Beast Wars, which I do have that on the docket planned as well. But if I was doing like a parody version of it, I would do, it was like a tab broke off on my Cheetor or Black Arachnia, for sure, because everybody's breaking their tabs off. But they're useless tabs, so that's okay. Yeah. Oh, Polar Claw was, Blue Raccoon's asking about that. Polar Claw is the polar bear from Beast Wars. He's the one that I got fooled on back in the Beast Wars days. And I thought, oh, there was snow. There was snow in Double Jeopardy when they got Black Arachnia. Her stasis pod was up kind of vertically on an ice cliff. And so I was just like, oh, they got snow, dude, awesome. They're going to have Polar Claw. So I bought Polar Claw. And then they didn't have them, and they had Tigatron. I was like, damn it. Because I remember specifically seeing Tigatron in the store, and there's a repaint. They're not going to put a repaint in there. Well, if I had known that, like, how much money stuff costs, like, for 3D models and stuff, I would have been like, I would have grabbed the Tigatron and already had them. But that's all right. Like, all those Tigatrons have, like, yellowed with age. So I'm glad, I'm lucky with my Japanese one that's, like, bright white, like, exhaust. Like, all those, I'm going way off topic here, but all those Tigatrons are, like, yellower than this cream color that we got for Wheeljack. So, but the Japanese version was like an all-white Siberian tiger color. So yeah, so that's what I hope. I hope we'll see that. I don't think we'll see Waspinator. Blue Raccoon says Waspinator will break apart before anyone else. That will be hilarious if the figure does. But I don't think they're going to be... I highly doubt Waspinator will be there because he won't be a Wave 1 figure. He's going to be a later in figure. So maybe. I mean, we can hope, but I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle this because I think they're going to have Dinobot Cheetor, and then Megatron and Optimus Prime are going to turn into the Predacon Megatron, and you know, but for what purpose, right? I mean, Megatron's got he'll get the Matrix. Right, he's already ripped it out of Prime's chest, so he's gonna get like a little armor plate thing in there. Galvatron showed up for no reason in Earthrise, like other than like, hey, let's change the future in a totally different timeline and stuff, or here's a golden disc, or here's what you need to look for in the golden disc. You're gonna have to break into the Ark, but I don't know where it's at, so I can't tell you that it's in the Ark. it's in mainframe, right? So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle all that stuff. So it's just a weird situation. They made a big deal with Galvatron and Earthrise by having him show up, but then that's all we're going to get to see of him. So I don't know. So yep. So this will be kind of where we'll stop that. It went a little bit longer. We went on different tangents. I have a hard time not wanting to read and participate with the chat. Like I love that interaction. But Blue Raccoon says he's looking for Optimus Prime trailer combat drone. So I remember you mentioning that with the videos I posted a little bit ago. So are you talking about Roller, or are you talking about like the little combat deck and then the drone that's up on top of that? So Roller only comes with the Centurion drone Generation Selects pack. Otherwise there is no Roller with anything else. I thought you were talking about the combat drone, like that has like the little arms and stuff like that, because that comes with the spoiler pack Nemesis Prime. That comes with Earthrise and Kingdom Prime, so just those three. Yeah, so the combat deck, yeah. So not Roller then, yeah. Okay, so not Roller, talking about the same thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know, I just think that I hope Kingdom is really good. Earthrise was better than Siege and a lot of like shifting back and forth in stories. But I wish we had more episodes. I wish we'd seen more characters. I wish we'd gotten more, like for example, the Fortune drops, takes the Autobots into Decius, the Breaker of Change, which is an obvious Game of Thrones reference. But that planet that they were on was Char, but they never said that. We're just supposed to figure that out later with, with map pieces, things like that, and that's cool. But I just thought that was weird that was, what they decided to go with, was Char. Because I was just like, man, if that's really Char, why didn't they make it like a Baron, like a moon rock, Because in the promotional thing, see, now I'm thinking of something else. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. But in the promotional stuff they had at, the Earthrise and everything, they had Scorponok, they had that swirling space bridge portal, and everything, like this whole moonscape with the Alicon and everything, like when they were showing off those toys and stuff, it was a moonscape. It was like they were on Earth's moon. So it would have been interesting if that had been like how they designed Char instead of going with the deserty thing. But it looks like they just kind of took the Sea of Rust from Siege and kind of turned that into Char. So just again reusing those kind of models, those kind of environments and things like that. That's kind of interesting. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna head on out. I think it pretty much covered everything that I wanted to get covered. I wish we had a Jazz. I wish we could get to see a Jazz in a series. He's one of my favorite Autobots too. But I'm okay with Red Alert. I love how Wheeljack. Oh, the other thing I was gonna mention was Hound barely did anything in Earthrise. Ironhide talked a little bit more, but pretty much did like next to nothing. Prowl didn't do crap, even though we saw him a couple of times and then he just disappeared. Sideswipe said a couple of things and then he disappeared. Ratchet said a few things about the space bridge and then he didn't do anything. So it was kind of weird, like, oh, and then Scorponok kills 2 red cogs, right? And then the real cog, like, he goes out to the Fortune and blows up with it. So that sucks because I really liked Cog, his character and everything. I don't know. It's just kind of it's just I like that we are getting characters that do it is war. There is death that's in war. Actual combat and stuff, but it's weird to see characters like that made more of an impact in the last chapter, and then they're kind of like, well, their story's over with. Again, if they had more episodes, would have worked out really well. So, yep. All right, well, that is. Gotta find my mouse now. Where's my mouse? But yeah, so I really appreciate everybody coming in. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. That's kind of crazy. I'll appreciate that, guys. But yeah, I don't know. I got content and stuff coming up on the channel. I probably should mention that at the end of these, right? Like, what do I got coming up? So I have some animations that are in various states of production. But we'll see how. Because there's kind of one I want to kind of nail down a intro that I am happy with and satisfied, and that will have exactly what I want in it. Right now, the issue is trying to figure out, how that's going to be made. Again, I wish I had a better computer so that I could get a lot of that stuff done pretty quickly, or at least have it made the way that I want it to. But we'll see how that all works out. I'm tempted to reach out to some people and say, hey, how did you do these special effects and things like that? So we'll kind of see how that goes. Because there are some stuff that I would like to see and have on my channel. So those are definitely what I want to have. I have Ultra Marcus mentioning, animations, do tell. So there are some Transformer animations. There was a Godzilla animation that I had some very preliminary pre-production work done on. I wanted it to be a little more involved, but when Godzilla vs. Kong came out, and the kind of after Christmas of 2020 and until about now, I've been pretty unmotivated for a lot of things, and just kind of work's been taking up a lot of my time. Just other stuff I was talking about earlier, and so I definitely would like to get back on that animation again once this collection room, once my office, the studio, animation studio, is clearer and freer of stuff. Then I'll be able to get a lot more of those animations done. In the meantime, the live streams kind of help out a little bit, and putting a little bit of content here and there. I was gonna do an unboxing, but I've picked up so much stuff. I mean, it's a little it's overwhelming to do the actual unboxing itself. So, but yeah, so stuff's coming up here. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I know I haven't posted. Actually, I posted some stuff on Twitter because TFanPage 101, awesome guy. Brian's an awesome dude. I had a really great question of, go to my Twitter and you'll find his tweet. So all of it's under the same name, Crimson Raptors. So Crimson, like the dark red color, Raptors, Raptors. Those on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, here on YouTube that you're watching. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, if you're listening to this. We're definitely got some more stuff coming down the pipe. I will definitely be needing some help with voices and things like that in the future for a lot of stuff. I got a trailer for the Transformers animation series, stop motion animation series I want to do that I've got a lot of motivation for. And that's going to be pretty cool. Definitely something that's inspired by All Hail Megatron 1K and inspired by Ultra Marcus. That's here in the chat. Definitely going to have that out by my birthday on June 6th. That's the plan. As I want to have that as something to kind of show out there and be like, hey, cool, let's get that kind of motivation going for it. I have a lot of ideas for it. Actually, I think I have 6 or 5 episodes. Actually, I can check right now. You can't see it, but I can check and see how many episodes I have for that. Let's see. Yep, 5 episodes. I have 5 episodes that I have outlined. Some with dialogue here and there, key scenes. So yeah, a lot. It's gonna have a hell of a lot of characters in it. I can tell you that there are 66 characters that I can do voices for. That satisfy me. I don't know if it satisfies the audience, but there are 66 characters I can do the voices for, and that's probably not even half of who will all make an appearance. So that's a lot. There's a lot of stories I want to tell. There's a lot of battles I want to show, and there's a lot of characters I want. Even if they get like 1 or 2 lines or something, there's a lot of characters I want to kind of showcase and show what they can do. I think there's a rich story to tell before Generation 1, and I think Earthrise and Siege kind of went too far too quickly. And I know Ultramarcus, and that, see, we're birthday buddies. We're friends and birthday buddies. But I think Siege didn't stay on the war long enough, and I think Earthrise went too quick. But so Kingdom will be really interesting. That's gonna get kind of nuts. So Blue Raccoon, real quick here, says Transformer toys are getting expensive. Packaging is getting harder to get through plastic packaging as well. Not will give not. I don't understand what you're trying to say right there. But hashtag bring back alt mode packing. So I would say no to that. Real quick here, because alt mode, when the Transformers were displayed in their alt mode in Generation 1, it was perfect because they were real vehicles. And Transformers, whenever they put them in an alt mode, like for example the classics, they they just didn't sell as well. So like if you put RC in an alt mode, like it's like, oh okay, I'll bar vanilla with Himalayan pink salt, bar of soap, right? Or you got like a little one with her cinnamon and her cinnamon and brown sugar bar of soap. So Wheeljack doesn't. It kind of looks like the Lancia. Jazz definitely looks like the Porsche, right? Like if they'd done something like that, but that'd probably get him in trouble, right? But yeah, I don't think that would work because Transformers don't sell well in alt modes. And robot mode is what everybody's in there for, and as long as the robot modes scale to one another, the alt modes are very secondary. That's just a way for disguise and to get from place to place. But yeah, I mean, if you want that Blue Raccoon, go for it. But alt modes make the brand suffer if they're not licensed vehicles. If they're licensed vehicles, then they do well. But that's just kind of how that works. And Hasbro's mentioned that before. That's why they went from robot to car, then they went back to robot modes for a while there, and that's what makes them money. But yeah, definitely some cool stuff coming down the pipe. I'm really excited for this year. Ultra Marcus says, this is going to be the year of the Raptor. I hope so. The year's very much quickly disappearing from me. I'm really excited about TFCon this year, going there, meeting a lot of people that I've only talked to on the internet or live streamed with. That's going to be really, really cool. I wish I could meet everybody. So that's going to be fun for sure. Definitely, I already have my reservation made for my room. I'm trying to see if I can get. Ultramark said I did say that. I said, but yeah, definitely would. Really, we're gonna enjoy. I hope TFCon 2020 doesn't get canceled. I have a feeling it might, but I hope that it doesn't. Because the last one got canceled. That was in Florida, and this one I hope doesn't, because it's in Baltimore, and I get to meet Bobby Skullface because he'll be there, hopefully. And Marcos, that's M3 Reviews. And, I am Pack from 3 Live Stream is going there. I think Input maybe road trip. Oh, road trip for Input maybe. So I hope Kaida's collection will be there. Not sure who else. Oh yeah, Patriot Prime Reviews is going there. Birth of Stormtrooper is going there. Fire Talks is going there. Deluxe Baldwin is going there for sure. Rodham's Primal will be there. I'm trying to get Trans Aaron 38 to go. So I hope Trans Aaron 38 will go, because like it's like literally in your neck of the woods. So I just, well, not maybe not literally, but like it's in the eastern seaboard. So I'm hoping that that'll work out. We all get to meet each other. It'd be really cool. But yeah, I know. Blue Raccoon says he wish he was going. Yeah, it's like I wish we could like have everybody there. You know, that would be super cool. All hang out. It's like we probably wouldn't even go to the dealer room or do anything. We'd all just be talking about stuff. So yeah, a ton of people are going. Dark Cohen, lots of people. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Everybody meeting up and seeing each other for the first time. So I've never gone to a BotCon either. I wish I had gone to a BotCon because I heard they were super awesome to meet people. Maybe not super awesome for the convention itself and the cost of the figures and everything, but when you go to conventions like this, you don't go there for the toys. You go there for the people. You go there for the interaction. You do it for community. If you're going there for the toys, you're kind of going there for the wrong reason. Those should always be secondary. But anyway, I've rambled on for another 15 minutes. Alright, this time really, see, I just love hanging out with you guys. This is like just chilling. But hopefully we'll get to do another live stream soon, and I wouldn't mind doing one of those chill where we just kind of chill out for like 4, 6, 8 hours, you know. But I can't do that today. But what time is it anyway? It's 3:33 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, so again, I appreciate you guys all being in here. I know we kind of dipped around on different topics, but it's just kind of overall kind of like Earthrise. Like, I hope Kingdom is really, really good, because this budget saving stuff they've done for Siege and Earthrise is not sitting well. But we'll see where this goes. As of right now, it seems like probably some of the best stories are told by the fans in the way that they want to tell them. But at least we're getting the most amazing figures we've had in a long time. In some cases, probably the best figures of them ever. especially at an affordable price like in Generations, as opposed to Masterpiece. Not everything can be a Masterpiece, right? But I thank you guys all for coming in. Again, subscribe, hit that like button. That shows the support for the channel. Leave me a comment if you weren't able to watch this live. Let me know what your thoughts were. Kind of get them all together and then kind of post a comment. And I'll get, if you had any questions or something, I'll answer those for you. But I really appreciate it. Again, shout out to everybody here. Again, shout out to Jay Holla for getting me the Odysseus Army drone and the blue deep cover that nobody knew anything about. So everybody take care. I appreciate y'all, and adios.